unable to get the minutes done. So I'm gonna have to send them out the next meeting.
I'm supposed to say that.
I'm just so far behind my work at home and everything else.
Nope, no problem.
Cup of tea.
We're up to
I do
date on
have them
everything.
if we need to look into them tonight. I do have
No,
them.
it's fine.
No, we're up to date on everything else.
Yeah.
We're doing well.
All right, so PAFs, I had two.
You did?
Well, I
You sent
had,
them.
I had the one for
Michael?
M. Wheeler, firefighter
Yeah.
EMT.
Yeah.
And then there was another one, I thought that, that Mr. Hodge, did he?
Oh, okay, so that one actually is being held
Okay.
because the individual start date is, had to be amended. So I just got something today from
Great,
him, and I know
okay.
Dennis is reviewing it, but that's Mike Wheeler's.
Okay, great, that's for his step increase.
Yep.
Okay,
God, that doesn't seem like it's been a,
well, they earned
Another
it the
year,
other day.
Oh, wow, yeah, I went
Yes.
down there.
They earned it.
So crazy.
you want
Yeah,
to
that was
just put
really
the date
something.
in this?
I make a motion that we
Accept it?
accept it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
I'm just gonna leave these things.
Any other discussion about that one? Nothing?
No.
All those in favor?
Uh,
Aye. So voted. Okay. So the next thing was position reviews and advertising. Do we have anything for that, Barbara? I don't think we do.
You have job descriptions.
Job descriptions,
That's-
yeah.
Yep, that's what you have there tonight.
Okay.
right, electrical.
So those were the ones you sent out to us, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And the select board unanimously approved both of them on Monday night, subject to personnel committee's approval.
And I think I had looked at them before, and I don't think that there was anything.
I didn't see
Did
any.
you?
I didn't see anything. I thought they looked good.
Because at least we've had a couple of weeks to take a look at them, so that's great, thank you for that.
And I've asked, oh, I'm sorry, you can finish what you want to, don't mean to interrupt.
That's, so based on these job descriptions, what would the committee like to do?
I make a motion to approve the two job descriptions.
I will second that.
Right.
I
Okay,
didn't want to say the wrong things.
all right, so we have the electrical inspector,
This is worse than
and we
Excuse me?
have the plumbing and gas.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Okay, and so a motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion on these two jobs descriptions?
No.
Nothing? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of approving them?
Aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. So you will be getting more personnel action
Applications.
forms on alternate inspectors.
great.
And then at your next meeting, my hope is that we'll be ready to give you a job advertisement for the permanent electrical inspector position too.
Okay.
Are you just using Indeed now?
No, we're still.
Doing the paper?
No, well, it depends on the position, you
Okay.
know, so at some positions, we might be able to draw candidates locally, others,
Okay.
and we might not grab enough people, but Indeed is working pretty well, I have to say.
Okay.
Okay. So I have to confess that I didn't get a chance to work on this as much as I would have liked in the last couple of weeks. So I noticed that you sent us that email that stated that our, the COLA got approved.
Yes.
At the-
Thank you, Sue, for being there, I really appreciate
Oh,
it.
I was so much help, wasn't I?
Was
No,
it
you did great,
was it a
you gave me the
real
thumbs up, I
meeting?
was like, that's what I need.
Oh, was it a real meeting? Okay.
No, it was Zoom
They voted
meeting.
unanimously. Yeah.
Great.
Scott asked about the Worcester CPI, and I explained it's not, that's a hard one to dig up, because usually that information appears in summary form, like
Right.
socioeconomic data,
Right,
but it's not clear cut. So,
right.
but they unanimously approved it, so that's going in the budget letter.
Beautiful, okay. So that was the 2%.
Same copy.
And did you have FinCom last night?
So FinCom met last night, and I didn't print out a copy of their budget letter, but their budget letter essentially says that they
The whole-
support the budget letter that I had done, and to follow those directions, and so, I don't know that they I wasn't at the FinCom meeting last night, so I
Okay,
don't know that
good.
they actually voted on a COLA, but they did support the budget letter, I think, essentially.
Okay, great. Good, all right. So now the next step is we need to come up with some of the market changes that we were thinking about. And again, I'm sorry, I did not get a chance to go through everything to bring up recommendations. Did any of the other committee members get a chance to do that yet?
No, I've been kind of busy this last couple of weeks,
I
I'm
know.
sorry also.
Y'all are-
But y'all been,
I think but we're still looking at the same group that we had written
Right,
down on that
exactly.
list.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
The one that I know that we were talking about, that I haven't seen a lot, is the transfer station. Was that one that I know we had it on our list to look at market rates,
Yeah, let me just.
but we didn't get any and we got some comparisons now.
We do. The issue that we have is that in so many of the other towns, they are blended positions with
Right.
highway. They're
Right.
not solely transfer stations, so it's really hard, it's like you're comparing apples and oranges here
Right,
in
yeah.
some cases. So we'd have to do a little bit more digging before we actually,
Well, how far off are they? I mean, I guess that's.
they're very far off. They're,
Right.
very, very far off. And
For the
again,
transfer station attendants?
Yes. But my only concern is,
So,
if we bump them up, will we have to, because now, if the highway does take it over, say like they're making 28 now, and we're starting off at highway at 22, how are you gonna compensate that?
yeah, I know. They'd be
That's
hi-
the
they'd be
only
paid
issue I
higher.
have further down the line.
Some of these are paid higher than, much higher than our laborer driver positions.
Correct.
So
That's what I'm trying to,
that's why I'm thinking we're not necessarily talking apples to apples.
Apples, I agree.
right,
but we might have a problem down the future. Because that's in the capital plans, am I correct? To take that over as one budget.
Well, it's not in the capital plan yet. It is a subject of discussion to take it over. Probably not in FY '23 because the highway department is still kind of in
Yes.
limbo and working on filling it. But in the future, I think that is gonna continue.
Well, that's what I'm saying, 2-3 years, we're
Yeah.
gonna run into the same problem here.
Okay, so that's, I'm trying to make sure that we also know all the positions that we're still talking about.
okay. So the transfer station attendant. All right, so when we had the HR study done, so I guess things have changed since the HR study because basically she made a recommendation that the range for that be 1515 to 1925. We were at 1493, so 20 cents less for the min,
Yeah.
and we were at 20 cents less for the max.
So the issue that we have is that, well, one of the issues, under transfer station attendant and transfer station manager,
Yep,
the attendant only has 2 comps out of all of our comp towns. The
Yeah.
manager only has 1.
right.
Right.
So it's causing these,
Yeah.
it's causing really big
Right.
spikes.
Okay, well, we can still take those into consideration and maybe do something in between. But we looked pretty good for the last time when we looked at the transfer station attendant. It was right in line with what we already were. So that's why I was wondering about that.
I just want to note that on your sheets, I actually have them in order chronologically, I have FY '20, then FY '21, FY '22, so I just wanna make sure you're looking at the
The
last.
third
last
page,
third page.
okay, good,
The numbers
that's
are
what I was,
small and
all
small.
right.
Want this page. This page.
No, but
I know what you're saying.
we have to get some cheaters, I think, huh?
Too small?
I know,
Yes.
I bet you when you wear your cheaters, you can't see it because the fog is,
And then one of the
Yes.
positions that we were looking at is a new hire. So should we, I mean, it's not that low, it's only 19.8% below. 43, line 43. I know we were talking about that one before, about bringing it up.
Yes, that is lagging behind, yep, and that,
But
there was
that-
an incremental adjustment last year.
yeah,
we-
yeah. And we had planned on another one this year.
That's what I'm at, if it's a new hire, should we still?
It hasn't even been 3 months, has it?
Yeah, it'll be almost 9 months by the time we get to FY '23 though.
So maybe a slight,
Yeah.
Increase.
Yeah. So the range on that one is, I'm just looking at our FY '23 range to see where it's going to fall. Okay, it is oh, here it is. Okay, so 2042 to 2610. Okay, so it looks like,
Currently, it's at 2002 to 2547,
right,
and that would go up another 2% above
Yes.
that.
and the higher rate for this position, trying to think, I didn't bring it with me. June, I wanna say it was 2136, the higher rate for this position, 2136 or 21. And at the end of the probationary period, it'll go up a step, so it's gonna be that much closer. So I'm gonna have to dig up the path to figure it to, oh, actually, no, notice the potential point, I can pull that up. And I can tell you what the higher rate was. I don't wanna hold you up, if you wanna move on, I'll just let you know.
Okay. I wish I was better organized tonight. I don't feel like I'm very well organized.
Here it is. I'm not either. You're not alone, Claire.
none of us are
Really
no.
Okay, so the higher rate for this position, was 2142 an hour,
Yeah,
and increasing to 2188 an hour upon satisfactory completion of the 90-day probationary period. So it's gonna be sitting at 2188 an hour
okay. After 90 days.
after 90 days.
Oh, good, okay.
So that brings it up a little bit.
Yeah, and so the recommendation that came from the HR study was that that particular admin position and the administrative assessor be at a higher rate, or a higher grade, if you will, or range, than the administrative assistant land use person. And we were kind of thinking when we were talking things out at a previous meeting back before we decided, well, last January, that it might be more conducive if we kept them in a very similar, where the job descriptions are so similar, whether that's something we want to consider having, having the admins in a range that's all similar to each other.
Mhm.
Now, I know that when the chief came to us and spoke to us about that, the public safety admin, we talked a little bit about it, and, you know, we do understand the confidential pressure that they're under, but in terms of the admin for land use and the admin assessor, I think that everybody has a confidential aspect to their positions and such. How did those come out? Did those come out around the same?
I don't have an admin for the assessor.
So it's listed on this sheet as administrative, line 7.
Okay, I got you. I've got you now. I'm sorry. I found it.
Okay.
And that falls at a grade, right now, that falls at a grade 7. So
Right,
it's
and that's
higher
what
than-
it's in.
Yeah, it's higher than public safety admin assistant currently.
Right.
I agree with you, if there was a way that we could put them, put them in one.
Right, and I want to make sure in terms of the accounting clerk, because that
Same
shows
thing, yeah.
that we're off there.
It does.
And so I'm looking at that, and it's almost like several of those, the accounting clerk, admin assistant land use, I want to see maybe administrative assessor, admin for public safety, that they almost all look like they should fall in that new range 8 from the market study, which at that time was 2354 to 2990, or either that or range 7, which is 2160 to 2746 at that time, but the 2% would be added to that. Would it be 2% or would it be 4%? So when she did this study,
She was proposing FY '21.
right, so we went up 2%.
0 in FY '21.
Okay, that's
So
right.
I think it would be
Yeah.
more like 4%. If you're trying to keep up with her sheet, it would be up 4% in
Yeah.
order to keep up
Right.
from hers.
Okay, and I'm looking to, my idea that I was gonna get through this in the past 2 weeks was to take a look at what was recommended.
21 was 0.
No.
22 we went up.
Oh, right, sorry.
Yeah.
20.
I'm working in 3
I'm
years.
losing it.
and-
I know.
Getting the
I
numbers.
know, it does, it gets confusing.
It does.
And just to add more confusion, weren't we thinking about changing the possible title for the accounting clerk?
We
Yep.
really appreciate that.
She's really not
She's not a clerk.
a clerk.
June, do you have the job description for that, right?
I do,
Have
yeah.
you guys gone through it? And
In the review, I did.
Yeah, and I think I attached
did.
it to that.
We did, it was,
it was,
Yeah, I'm all for, I'm all for
I just thought we
that.
were, I wasn't even considering that the
So-
same clerk.
so was there any recommendation that came from you in that job description that we should change the name of that? Or the title of that position?
I did. I recommended, I don't know what you'd actually call her because we don't have an actual title, but she's not yet an assistant to the accountant, but she is either accounting admin or assistant to the assistant.
Yeah, yeah.
Assistant to the accountant, I think is,
Because she's not quite the assistant town
Right.
accountant.
Right,
But she
yeah.
is really
More
pretty close, yeah.
I like assistant to the town accountant.
Yes,
I
yeah,
also like management assistant,
Yeah.
accounting management assistant,
Yeah.
or, well, maybe not as much as I like assistant to the town accountant.
She's pretty much an assistant because she pretty much will do anything, and she
Right.
can. She really can.
right. Right, and so do we have that updated job description? It was with job descriptions, is that what you said?
Yeah. She
Okay.
marked it up.
So maybe that's something you could scan, do you have a scanner?
Oh,
Can you scan that to us or no?
There's notes on it.
At least there's notes.
I'll
I
get it to
attached
you.
them.
Why have June send it to us,
I'll get it to you. Don't I have
Can
to
you
use a
scan it to
computer
us?
for something?
or send it to us?
A copy of it?
Yeah,
Oh, I made a copy of it too. I made a copy of everything that you got, so I can
It's
pull it.
in the evals
oh,
that I have. I'm
it's
just
built
waiting.
in.
Yep, I'm just
Oh.
waiting for the rest of them to come in,
Okay.
and then when I have them all,
June, that way we would have
I
the
can pass them
opportunity to be able
around.
to read it and make, yeah.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Do we have
And
one?
then change, we could
don't
vote
have
on changing the,
I sent out a notice.
Yeah, because I mean, I put in a recommendation,
can I
but it
start
was,
knocking on doors?
but it was based on,
You
the
don't want me
current,
to.
because I don't, per se, this is not real yet.
yeah,
So
right,
I just use recommendations based
Yeah.
on what I had, as far as the old rates, not so much the new ones.
Okay, so those are really the ones that we're talking about market rate changes. Oh,
Yeah, I
did I
did
say-
not, well, assistant town clerk and town clerk are two others that were discussed last year that should continue to be discussed.
yeah,
I actually had a conversation with Eloise today and said, Eloise, we need to do something. We need to keep these positions, you know,
yeah,
at or near market. And we also need to acknowledge the amount of hours the positions are working, because it's not gonna serve the town well in the future. If Eloise decides to say, no, I'm done, and then, you know, there's not going to be someone that can come in and do the position in 20 hours a week. She's working way more hours than
Right.
she's paid for, so we've gotta deal with that. But yeah, both she and the assistant town clerk are a little behind.
And he's getting paid hourly now?
Well, he's gonna be getting paid hourly, because, it's coming up.
So we're gonna work on
I'm
that.
sorry, everybody.
that's okay.
So that's gonna be factored into the budget, it's gonna be factored into the budget request.
Now, so just,
Oh,
these are the positions that we're talking about.
yes. Okay.
No, no.
I'm sorry, I should have said line 47 or 48, I didn't think.
And we're talking about changing this title.
You know, then there's the,
Oh,
line 52, which falls way behind, however, I think the duties I think the duties here are very basic compared to some other,
Yes,
you know, so.
yep, yep.
Yeah,
And that will be going up a little bit anyway, and it would depend on what we decide we wanna have as that first range,
Mhm.
if you will. Remember, we had talked about kind of dropping off,
Yes,
We
Me too.
actually, well,
yes, we were talking about
we
that.
were just updating
Yeah.
the new classification spreadsheet with the new 2%.
yeah,
And it pretty much eliminates the first two
It does,
That's
and
it
what
half
does.
of the third. So I mean, it's almost like you would wanna go with the fourth as your first.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
at
Right.
this point in time.
yeah, the third and fourth, but June just, we're working on this right now, but we'll send it out to all of you.
yeah, good, okay,
Then there's lines, and I think these are important ones too, lines 25 and 26.
yes,
They're pretty significantly behind.
yeah,
So, you know, I don't know what your thoughts are. There are so many that need to be addressed. We can only do things incrementally. Do we look at, you know, do we look at those that are so far, you know, that are significantly behind and really try to make an effort to bring them up a little bit?
Mhm.
And, okay, that's what I was thinking.
because, and then we gotta remember too, there are some of those that we are definitely thinking need some merit raises this year.
Oh, absolutely. There are a couple, yeah. I don't know if you've had a chance to review.
I went through all of
Good luck. Someday I'll type them for you so you can read them. Oh, my God.
I liked reading yours.
Oh, I was,
Which way am I going? It was called, it was good though. I followed them.
no,
Can I say something about, didn't we have this, about, you know, about line item 26? Is it 26? I gotta hold it up here for a minute.
yeah.
Yeah,
you want me to go get my Cheetos?
No, but thank you anyways. Remember we had a definition about this? I mean, they do everything, so it's not like, that's the problem. And that's my, personal, opinion on
Oh,
this.
that's right, we're gonna choose some of their job titles, right? Or
Yeah.
combine some of the job
Combine,
titles?
we're gonna have to combine them,
Mhm.
because we're not like a bigger municipality where that's what he does every day.
Yeah,
They all do it,
yeah.
that's the problem. So how are you gonna define, what if he's in there for only 4 hours? Are you gonna pay him that?
Yeah, yeah.
Originally, going back to the beginning of time,
Yeah,
they were just one.
correct.
And then it was split out so that that way there was at least some way of doing step increases at a more reasonable, once
Right.
they hit certain licenses or did learn certain techniques or whatever you wanna call it. That's why it was originally split up as much as it is now.
Okay.
I'd like to see it condensed a little more because it's really, all the positions don't even, we don't have.
The labor truck driver is fine,
Yeah, yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah, but we don't have a dedicated heavy equipment operator.
You don't.
You don't, but at one time, some of them couldn't necessarily do
Right.
mechanics. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that was the other.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's a qualification that you must possess for this job. One of them, correct?
Yeah,
So everybody can use it,
that's right. It needs to be interchangeable.
correct?
So,
So we're,
speaking of that, if I could, I have asked Fred for a Word version of that draft job description you looked at last time.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
And I said we were gonna work on making it a little more concise and pare it down, and I'd like to get on an advertisement for that as soon as possible. And so I'm just waiting for the Word document from him, and I'll work on kind of paring it down a little bit.
Okay.
so we're talking about really putting 26 and 27
so
together,
last
right?
year-
Just for my notes.
So I'm just looking at
Basically,
the market adjustments from last year.
Yeah.
Or this year. All right, accounting clerk went from grade 6, step 1 to grade 6, step 4.
Yeah,
Public safety admin assistant went from grade 6, step 2 to grade 6, step 4. Board of Health clerk went from grade 4, step 11 to grade 5, step 5. So it's
Yep.
truly reclassified. And the council on aging director also, grade 7, step 7, grade 9, step 1. And library director, grade 9, step 12, grade 10, step 8. And youth services librarian, grade 6, step 2 to grade 6, step 4. So the question is, are there other positions that weren't addressed this year that you want to be sure to at least start incrementally
important ones.
bringing up?
The important ones that we
I-
discussed.
Yeah,
Couple-
but, so if we gave them some last year.
Yes.
I mean, not to keep them out this year,
Right,
just
right. No,
consider
I-
others.
Yes,
So now we are talking, no, she did. What did we do for land, I'm sorry, land use clerk, what did we do for?
we didn't do anything last year.
She was one that we didn't do.
Right.
and the council on aging is new, and that's why we increased it.
Yeah, so land use clerk, we need to look at this year definitely.
This is a new hire, so we would basically
I'm looking at the wrong page.
can't really do anything.
Well, we could do a little slight,
Yeah.
and then,
So, yeah, the highway department will,
Okay.
the highway and the transfer
No,
station,
yeah,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
Highway and transfer station?
Or did you want more clarification from both of them?
On highway, I would like to address the positions that we know exist, which would be the laborer driver and highway mechanic laborer, HME. Oh,
Correct.
wait, I'm sorry, not that one.
Nope,
It is the, no, it's just the laborer driver. Laborer driver is way low.
Yeah.
oh, and
Yep, that's
what's the
it.
difference between a heavy motor equipment operator and a highway laborer truck driver?
I think that, oh,
Licenses.
How much of a difference for
It's a pretty,
It's
so it's,
heavy motor equipment operator? So
Yep.
that's,
that's just a loader, whatever you call it, that's just a big machine operator.
It's running, in this town, it could be a 2A,
okay,
2B.
yep,
But most towns, you gotta have a 2A and 2B, but we don't have a excavator.
okay,
So that's what it is.
okay.
Essentially, the position doesn't exist here. It might have existed before when they had to,
No, because a 2B
No.
is covered under the lever tire backhoe and a front end loader. Your 2A is for an excavator.
Yeah.
but we don't have a.
We don't have an excavator.
Okay. So we don't have a position that solely does heavy motor equipment?
No,
Okay.
because if you have, even our part-timers have them to load in the winter, it's salt trucks. They have to have them.
Yeah.
Tommy Doe does.
I think that was more for the mechanics position, I think. more
Correct.
So than the heavy equipment.
2, yes.
So maybe it would also be good for Fred to let us know who's actually in,
The loader.
no, these positions.
right.
These, I mean, if we're just looking at them and saying we don't really have one for that position, well, we
I,
should know.
June, maybe you can
Where we
answer
do
this,
have them.
because you've been here longer.
We have a couple of them
I
on this
think
market study.
basically that was
Yeah, okay, that's what,
divided
thank you.
between both is whoever was in it during the day, but a snowstorm, you had to have your license so they could go down there and load themselves.
Yes,
That's why there's 2 clarifications.
but I think they threw in the, I remember them intentionally doing the mechanic thing because that had a little bit more,
Money.
yeah.
Okay.
That may be different now, but at the
Correct.
time, I remember that was a big,
Yes.
So that's,
Just an FYI, we don't have the assistant fire chief either. That's an NA.
That's a gun.
Not applicable, yeah.
Right,
So there are 2. I think. On this entire list that don't. I should just hide those rows completely.
But is there, that's no
There's a
longer.
deputy, there's a deputy chief,
Okay, that's no longer,
not assistant, just deputy.
okay.
Okay.
So I think that, like, for instance, a highway laborer truck driver, which is line 26, right?
Yeah,
So when I look at that and I look at, okay, our current range is, it's a grade 5, and the new, trying to see, laborer, truck driver. There was a recommendation that it be changed to a 6,
Yeah,
back when Sandy did it. And here, if we go way over to the right and look at what the comp ranges are, there are 2, it basically, is the far right, Margaret, over to the far right where it says 75th percentile?
yeah.
Is that basically the, oh, no, it's
No,
a, comp average is the second one.
That's right, 2072 to 2549.
Right, so that even shows right there
Yep.
that it should be increased to at least a grade 6,
Yep.
which was recommended. And so even though it says 2072 to 2549, that's basically what it is with that 2% increase,
Yeah.
what she had previously recommended.
Yeah.
So even just for that particular position, that would be, the people that are in that position. Is it both of those people that are in that position? or is
Currently,
The
yeah.
two new hires are in that
Yeah.
spot.
So if we were to bring that up to the new range,
The other has a CDL.
Okay.
so the new men would be,
I think I read that one. Gotta hold it back here.
so it'd be 1982 plus.
It would be 2002 to 2559 in FY '22. Currently, it's 1794 to 2290.
So it'd be 2002 to, what was it,
2559.
2559.
And that gets a lot closer to the average. It's slightly lower, but
Right.
you're also on this, a town on the smaller side, so.
Yep,
And just for the record, we're not the only ones having this problem. Towns are giving bonuses. Never heard of that.
right, yep.
$2,000, you can go down this next town over.
Don't be saying that right now.
Advertisement.
Don't be
Huh?
saying that right now.
No,
I'm
no,
sure
no.
they're using their ARPA funds at high risk.
Well, no, I'm just saying,
Right.
we're not the only town going through this problem.
No, it's,
It's just, it's,
So
very
is that
widespread.
new person, are they going up a step after 90 days?
yeah, that
Okay.
will be, okay, let me find out where he is.
Just one.
Because he got hired at the max, so I just want to find out what he's going to go to.
Here it is.
At least we'd have some room to move with that.
So he is, okay,
90 days.
Now you did change that, it used to be 6 months. right? Okay.
so when I did the notice of intent to appoint, I hadn't, these were conditional,
Okay,
so I don't, oh, I can actually find it elsewhere. Let's see.
Is that under other? Yeah,
I don't have, I can't get the PAFs from here because it's on my
other one.
other, I have to go into Gmail and the Drive and, hold on. I think I can find it. Here it is, okay, here it is. Son of offer, fully execute.
It's gotta be closed, Claire, right?
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
It is.
so once,
It is. Okay, initial pay, grade 5, step 12, so he is at the laborer driver,
Right.
but at the top step.
yep,
And then after 90 days, he would go to grade 6, step 9, $23.92 an hour
step,
as highway, heavy equipment operator, driver, laborer.
okay, 2392. So that's a different role, is that correct?
Yeah, it is. And now why did let's see. All right, he has his CDL.
Yep,
Yeah, but he has to have that other license to become their heavy equipment motor operator. He has to have that.
and also, can you just, in that offer letter, can you read to me what he got for vacation time?
You will begin accruing 1 week, 40 hours vacation on a monthly basis, starting 1 month from your date of hire. Upon your successful completion of your 90-day probationary period, you will be eligible to use the accrued 40 hours of leave at any time during the current fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022, according to the town's policies and procedures. Upon completion of your 90-day probationary period, you will begin accruing 1 day, 8 hours of vacation on the first calendar day of each month from February to June 2022, totaling 1 additional week of accrual, which you will be eligible to use upon accruing the leave and by June 30th, 2022.
Okay. You know, was there a reason why we went out of policy for that?
Yep, because I couldn't get them in unless we did something about vacation.
Okay, yeah,
It's just the
no,
way
I
it's
know,
going, please.
we've talked about it, we
Yep.
need to, but just so everybody knows, it's out there. I've had 2 people stop at my house to ask me about it. Why did this person get this?
Yep.
Because I believe they got a copy of the offer letter, or they saw a copy of the offer
Yeah.
letter that was made to him.
Yeah,
So I think we need to probably do what we can to try and be consistent going down the path, because I don't think,
so how do we get employees to come in? If we
I
can't
know.
pay
You
them
did
market,
mention
and we
that.
Do it for
can't give them a
everybody.
benefit that
Do
they're
this-
already receiving, how do we get them here?
do
Yeah,
the
I
same,
remember you mentioned
do
that.
the same thing for everybody,
2 weeks.
Margaret.
Well, we could change the policy to do the same thing for everybody, but
Pretty much recently, I would say within the last couple of years, maybe 3 years, that's the way it's been.
Right,
I don't think we've hired really anybody new.
I know,
But based on policy.
right, because
Because they just won't,
I know, nobody will come for just
yeah.
1 week after a year, you know, which I can absolutely unequivocally agree with, you know.
Yeah.
That's why we want to increase.
So that's why, you know,
But I'd like to see what we can do to, the other person that was hired in that department, to see what we can do to try and provide the same exact thing for that person. Because they've been here less than a year as well. They're working side by side
Yeah.
and doing the same job right now until that guy goes up to the next
Level.
level.
Except that he does have a CDL.
Oh, yeah, the other person does not, you're right.
Yep, there is a difference.
But,
He has more skills, more licenses.
right,
We have to do something about vacation altogether. It's
Yeah.
unreasonable what we have in our policies.
We need to
So,
change that.
yes, I agree.
Well,
Yeah,
You
I
did
shouldn't say it's
mention that.
unreasonable, it just makes it really difficult.
I know, yeah, I agree.
And yes, I agree that the policies need to be consistent. Well, anyway, we can work on that.
Okay,
So when we go over the policies the next time,
yep,
we have got to look at that
definitely. And I did
on
copy,
the
and
top of
I
my page.
haven't had a chance to send it to you guys, the accrual calculations that we use, you know, at my place of work. I don't know if it makes any difference or whatever, and I know June, you were running some stuff too to try and figure out how we might be able to do that and everything. Although we can't get it into the payroll, onto the paycheck stubs right yet, but.
We're working on it.
Maybe,
Dennis and I have a meeting with the payroll company
oh, good,
on.
it's
when-
gonna be really hard because almost every single employee right now is different.
We
There
just,
is
I
nothing
know.
across the board right
I
now.
know.
Do we do comp then?
Well, the only other thing is if we do change it and we do increase the amount of vacation time people have, there may be some people that fall into a thing where they may get a slight increase
Town does.
in vacation time if we were to do it across the board for everybody, you know? It's the only right thing to do.
Yep.
The problem is, if you do it, like Margaret said, if you do it for one, you gotta do it for.
And we should.
and we do, and I understand that the other person who was hired, even though that person doesn't have the licenses, the standards for
His job.
benefits at hire
Yeah.
have changed.
Right,
You know,
absolutely, yep,
and we can, you know, we can make that adjustment through policy. If we say, you know, after completion of the probationary period, you begin accruing, or something, you
Right,
know,
yeah.
but
It would just be really helpful.
I like
since
that
we can
idea,
change
Margaret.
these, it would be
I know,
great to do
we've got to
that,
get
but-
these done.
yeah.
I think we should
So
Well,
when
we
that,
can work session.
when
go
that,
off topic. Yeah, I was going to say, we need a work session where this is all we're going to do. It's just,
What are you guys doing on a Sunday morning? I get up
Oh,
about
God.
4.
that's my,
No, Sunday's the only day off.
no, exactly.
I was only teasing.
I'm doing the same thing I do every day.
Take care of your horses.
So, if we were to take some of these positions that we talked about that we are not, that we didn't do anything with last year, and we were to put them into the range that was recommended and that currently falls into the ranges that are listed here as the average range. If we could possibly reclassify the positions and then determine what their new rate of pay would be, whether they'd still be in that range or not in that range, and what kind of increase should go with a reclass. Would that be something, Margaret, that we could work on and possibly, I could have recommendations, I could possibly take a closer look at it and have some recommendations for the next meeting?
Yeah.
Is that too late? I'm
No,
sorry. I
no,
thought
not
that I was
at all.
gonna have them done for
In fact, the budget letter, we note in the budget letter that there will be further instructions for those positions where
Okay.
there might be market
All
rate
right.
adjustments or something. We're doing,
Yes.
yeah, so.
So I think that by, I'm just trying to think methodically on if we were to take the position and reclassify the position to the new range that the market is telling us we should pay at, then we look, okay, so this is the new range that it should be paid at.
Yeah,
Where does that person fall in that new range? Like currently, they're at a step 5 or a step 4 in the old range. Where do we think that they should fall in the new range? Are they currently back at step 1 again? Do we?
So typically when a position is reclassified, I don't know if what your experience
No,
has been,
you
but
go ahead.
well,
No.
mine has been that if a position is reclassified, they move to the next grade,
Yeah.
or a grade above,
Right.
at a step, at least one step above where they were prior. So that way you're not, increasing them by pennies or something
Right,
like that.
right.
You're increasing them by at least one step
Yep.
above where they were prior.
Okay.
So that's kind of been the rule that we
Okay.
followed.
Now, are you gonna take the new HR person's sheet and increase it by 2%, or are you just gonna leave it at the 21 rate?
If we actually switch the classification plan, the whole thing, or the compensation plan,
Because it's all based on numbers for 21.
it needs to be increased by 4%.
By
It
4%,
needs to be increased by
you're saying
4%.
on the thing that she had initially given us
Yeah.
with, so that's 4%,
It has to
right?
be, 4% because,
Okay.
yeah, because.
4% or the information that we
Yes.
have here.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So let me ask, the
Same thing.
4% plus
We
the
reflect 0 on
2%
ours and everybody else.
Yeah,
on some?
Well, we don't know where they'll fall in that new range.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But I
That's
get
why
a little
I'm-
concerned when I'm looking at, okay, if I'm moving somebody from a step 4
Yeah,
in grade 5 to a step 4 or a step 5 in grade 6, that's $2.50 an hour, that's a lot.
That is a lot. So,
So we'll have to make some determination.
and if there wasn't a step due,
Yep,
then moving them to the higher grade, as long as it's at or above what step they were at.
oh,
That's- I
absolutely,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and that would at least be fair.
yeah. Yeah, and now, because that, just to go back to those 2 highway positions, because that other position was moving to the heavy motor equipment operator, I believe you said, from the highway laborer, truck driver.
Laborer driver to heavy equipment operator, driver, laborer, mechanic.
Okay.
Is that right?
So-
No, I'm wrong.
No.
Heavy equipment operator, driver, laborer, there's too many.
Yeah,
Right,
there's just-
right, I was getting kind of confused.
I am too.
So, he's going from highway laborer, truck driver, to highway mechanic laborer, HE.
heavy equipment
Okay,
operator.
Driver,
okay,
laborer.
all right,
So,
okay, good, good,
you're gonna have to,
yeah. So we would have to increase the range of the highway laborer, truck driver to meet the market and what's going on, especially right now. But on the highway mechanic, laborer, heavy equipment operator, we'd have to see what was recommended for that one too. So that one, it was recommended for,
Mechanic, labor, HMEO.
But see,
that
you
seems
can't be both.
high. That seems awful high.
You can't be a mechanic and a heavy equipment operator. That's my opinion.
Mechanic, labor, mechanic.
You can be a
Do I
truck
have
driver
the
and a
wrong-
heavy
do I have the
equipment
wrong
operator and a laborer, but you can't be a mechanic.
Why?
Because the mechanical stuff's done at the shop, you know, right?
On line 25, Margaret, on
Well,
the
it could be
page
out on the road.
before,
Depends on what
Yeah.
it
No, I
is
understand
heavy
that.
motor equipment
I
operator.
understand that part,
Yeah.
but it's gotta
So,
be broken
that
down
one
differently. It
It's
has
not,
to
I
be.
was looking at the highway at line 27.
I'm
That,
not gonna
line
fix it.
27 seems
Brakes.
too high to me, so that's gonna be a much,
Yeah, but our highway
much
guys
more
do.
elevated
That's what our highway
position.
guys
in
do.
my-
Actually,
But if
If
I
I-
worked there, I'm
Hold
a
on, let me- I have
mechanical.
to check it against
Somebody
the
that's better
other-
mechanically is
Well,
gonna
I wanna
fix
check
it,
it
not
against-
me.
But we,
2490.
Huh?
then you wouldn't be here. But when we have only
24.90.
4 guys,
I understand.
they all have to be truck drivers.
I mean,
And you have
yes,
one that's probably,
I mean, if it's something big, it goes out.
I understand.
So like that, line 27, her original HR study thing, recommended that go to, so that's a heavy motor equipment operator, line 25, that go to a range of 2160 to 2746. And if we add on the 2% or even 4% to that, that comes out at almost what you have here, the 2271 to 2831 over to the right as the average. So it's not bad, it's pretty much in line with what the HR study said. So the question that, do we want to move to ranges that are more within the lines of what she recommended plus the 4%? Or do we want to stick with our own ranges and add on the 2% to that and work with that? What are your thoughts with that?
Wow. Oh, I didn't bring it.
Did Freddie give you a rough anything about this, Margaret? Putting that in different categories?
No,
Okay,
no, I haven't talked to him about that, no.
okay.
I can work on this in the
I
next
don't
couple
know,
of weeks.
I didn't bring my, I didn't
And
bring
make it
her
more
classification
simple.
sheet
come to
tonight,
one of our
so.
meetings.
Should Fred?
Yeah, should Fred come to one of our meetings, like he can tell us who's,
Well, like what positions exist.
exactly.
Yes.
The reason is, so if you look at our classification, if you look at our compensation plan,
Yeah,
and I know that these positions existed in the past,
right,
but you have a heavy equipment operator, driver, laborer, mechanic.
yep,
Then you have a master heavy equipment operator, driver, laborer.
yep,
This, on line 27,
yep,
the Berlin's rate actually reflects the master heavy equipment operator, driver, laborer, not the
right,
highway mechanic laborer, heavy
Right.
equipment operator.
right.
So,
I agree, but on the previous page, line 25, I think that's
oh,
correct, the heavy,
I see, so,
yeah.
oh.
There's two class-
So that's,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah,
Oh, so that should be the grade 7 one, combined position.
yep,
Okay.
yes, that would move to a new grade 7.
And then,
yeah.
okay, and then this line 27 would be the grade 8 position. we
Yeah.
have. Okay, now I'm
my record.
You were? All right.
What did you do?
I said, yeah, I was
That's
thinking
good.
of it the same way she was, and it's like.
Yeah, and then of course you have foreman, which actually reflects it accurately. So I'm gonna change the titles on this just to make sure that it makes sense.
Yep, yep. But I think once we knock out what the new range is gonna be, and whether we're gonna go, what were your thoughts, Margaret? Were we gonna stay, or June too? I'd like your thoughts too, because, you know, you guys are the ones who have to administer this. Are we gonna stick with the ranges that we currently have with 2% on top of this, right?
Well, that's what we're gonna do this year, because that's where we are.
Yeah.
For fiscal year 23?
Yeah,
Yes.
because it's,
Okay,
the
Because,
timing.
yeah, otherwise
All
it's
right.
gonna be like, you've gotta have it done next week,
all right,
by
okay.
Monday.
Okay, no, not gonna happen.
Just saying.
Okay, good. I just wanna make sure that when I'm going through all this to try and come up with some thoughts for everybody, at least for us to vote on, to make a recommendation for market adjustments.
Yeah, the current one is the one that you're gonna,
Okay,
that we're
and
using.
we're just gonna add the
for-
2% onto that,
And
right?
then hopefully by next year, as in 24, we'll have the.
And we
New
classify
creation.
our positions based on our current classification numbers. And then we classify from there.
I mean,
So
if you
if,
have to move here on the sides, you could always do that, like here.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But using this sheet for right now versus whatever it was that she was using.
yeah, so we classify the positions and as well as the transfer station. We wanna make sure that we're doing something with the transfer station, but I'm
Weren't
I'm
you
a little
waiting for
concerned
more
about
information?
those
From the
It was
positions.
board.
there, but I thought you had pulled it back to get more information.
Last year, we were
from
waiting
Board
for
of
more
Health.
information.
From the Board of Health.
Yeah.
Well, and from other towns, but
Right.
like Margaret
And we
said,
we never were able to get anything. Only one we got any information from last year was Air, the town of Air.
but they do.
And,
Like Bolton, it's not just a
right,
transfer station,
They
it's
do.
part of the highway.
correct. Yep,
They have transfer station.
Most towns are, like Margaret said, so it's in their budget.
So
Right,
we're,
they're also part of like all the laborer,
Yep.
truck driver.
Yep,
right,
they
So
take
it's
shifts.
all one.
They take shifts. It's like, you
Mhm.
Yeah.
know,
yep,
around, you know, you might have some people who are dedicated, to working at the transfer station, but otherwise they're pretty interchangeable, I think.
they can all do the job, but
Yeah.
one or two do just go do the transfer, one goes and does the cemetery.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was thinking isn't here, right? But
So I would
What's that?
suggest
cemetery,
that
It's a vendor,
the,
right now.
So it's a lie, right?
but we haven't got any,
that.
We haven't got any feedback on that yet. Because,
no,
So even with the correction to line 25,
yep,
to 2240, the range, Berlin's range, 2242 to 2863,
yep,
we're not gonna be significantly below.
yep,
I think we're gonna be below on the higher average side.
Yeah.
So that's not huge.
Right.
The other one though, that line 26 is a big,
yeah, we wanna
Big
make
gap.
sure that our min is at least at that new min, and then figure out what step the person should be in from the new min.
and line 32 is big.
Yep, yep,
that's,
but also I think
Also, yeah.
we need a little more input from Fred.
Yeah, you come to your meeting and talk about what positions exist and
Yeah,
what his thoughts are. I mean, you're gonna be,
things have changed, don't get me wrong. But I think we just need a little more information from him. That's,
maybe he can just explain to us that the tasks or duties are different within the different roles.
Yes.
And hopefully he can describe those changes to us. We just wanna, I guess it's more for just validating where we're going with the ranges to make sure that,
And don't forget, when these were clarified, we didn't have building and maintenance either.
right,
So that's a huge difference.
yeah,
It's just kind of slashed in there.
Yeah, we didn't have that
He could
when they
also,
changed, when they had that. So that's a whole different role now.
and now that he's had an admin for a few months, he could also give us some feedback on that position,
Yes.
Yes.
which I think is another important thing, because we've got to, I mean, she can't stay there.
So more work for the person that's helping them. Maybe you throw a couple more hours there, over there, huh, Jim?
No, I need her for the 5.
right.
Yeah, no, I think maybe he
I know, I just had to say that.
if he could give us some
Yes.
feedback on that.
It would help. A lot,
Boy, boy, oh boy, oh boy.
because it goes totally
So
different.
many.
Well, that kind of sums it right up.
What, Margaret?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh
We've
boy.
got a, yeah, it does.
It's 41,
No,
too.
we've got a
It's
number
41.
of positions that are still lagging way
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah, and even if we can like incrementally poke at them like we did last year, maybe we can poke a little bit more this year and, you know, try and come up with something that's, that the finance committee and the board of selectmen can agree to.
When does this have to be our final say on the other stuff? For the budget for next year?
December, no.
It should be
It's
in
gonna say
December.
December 6th, but
That ain't gonna happen,
No, we're just, with these particular ones, we're going to have to make, with the market rate adjustments, the
Yep,
merits and additional hours and new staffing, but we're gonna have to treat separately. There's no way it's going to be done for the
Right.
budget submission time.
right.
huh? Yeah.
Now, how are we working on the merit ones? How,
We're waiting for some more
okay,
reviews, because,
Yeah.
well, last 2 years, I've only sent them to you and Tommy after I have them
right, yes. I know.
complete.
Yep,
I can start sending them around now. But
Yeah, that's fine. I just,
okay,
because God knows when I'm gonna get to
Yeah.
making them look pretty
yeah,
and
Oh.
getting sign-offs and stuff.
those, the
I-
ones that aren't looking pretty are fine, it's the ones that we're missing that,
So, yeah, and those, I think it's the same culprits each year, pretty
Mhm.
much. So, I sent out when did I send that out? Oh, I have no idea.
3 weeks ago? 4 weeks
I
ago?
can give you an update.
I mean, I know that one of the groups that we're missing, I spoke to someone that's on the committee and they said they did do them, but we just don't have, yeah.
We don't have them?
No, we don't, us physically.
Oh, they did them, but they haven't turned them in yet?
Give me 2 seconds and I'll get it. Assessors, thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have them.
But I know that
So-
those have been done.
yeah. And they were done that prior to the deadline. So,
Well,
I know
it
the
was only
the
recently that the
directors.
director was asking for job
Forms?
descriptions, so I don't know.
But that's just, I mean, that's one of the ones that,
Okay.
I gave you the list of who's,
Mm.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah,
and,
so,
what is it, it's always. Where the hell is this?
Assessors.
Animal control.
Yeah, see? The missing ones,
That should just be eliminated.
assistant town clerk, animal control officer, animal inspector, transfer station staff, assessor staff.
yep,
Right.
yep,
I don't recall receiving the assessor since
Okay.
this. Maybe, I can poke, well, maybe they're just sitting in the assessor's
Yeah,
office and I just
I can,
haven't
there was a comment made about it today, so I know they're aware of it. Or at least somebody's aware of the fact that it's still there.
That it's still, oh, they are in the office, okay, that's good. It's in progress then.
okay.
think they were worded in our job description.
Well, we have to do the other part too.
I'm just, that's what I heard today, so.
Okay.
Okay, so I think our committee I think we need to individually kind of look at these and come up with like a list and a recommendation so that we can be, so that when we come in on December 1st, we'll have a list and what our recommendation is, and that way Margaret and June will have some idea of where we are.
So we're doing the market rate list, the ones there,
Yep,
and then hopefully
a
by the
merit
first,
rate list, or,
by the first I will have
yep,
the rest of those. And we'll have a list of the merit rates, the ones that we think, okay.
yep.
And I know it's pretty obvious, Margaret, but if there are some that we think need like a PIP or something like that, you're totally aware of that. We don't need to
Yeah.
come up with that stuff for you, right?
Yeah,
Or do
no,
you, or do you need our recommendation to,
I'll take your feedback.
okay,
So
so
you're
I just wanted to know, like officially,
Yeah.
like we recommend the merit and we recommend market rate.
Yeah.
Do we officially have to recommend like a PIP, or do you, it's just, that's your.
Yeah, no, I
Okay,
mean, we could.
that's all I wanna know.
You could, yeah, I mean, that would, something we could just.
Yeah, no, I
discuss, but-
just wanna make sure that if we're supposed to be doing something and giving you a recommendation, that we're doing it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's all.
All right.
Okay, I think before we end our meeting, you know, we've gotta come up with a date for a work session on these policies, cause we're not gonna get them done if we don't.
Right. Um,
And unfortunately, I mean, we're all kind of in a weird
You know, got our weirdness this
family
month.
state, yeah.
I think that,
Do you wanna
I
do
need
a
to be on-
Saturday?
No,
Ha, ha, ha.
no, she's going home, Margaret's
No.
going home.
Okay.
yeah,
But thank you for offering. I mean, there might be a Saturday I could do.
no.
And the only
So
problem,
usually we have, on Wednesdays, you have FinCom usually, right?
Yeah, well, they'll be really moving forward pretty
So
soon.
like a
every
Tuesday or a
week.
Thursday?
Probably, yeah.
Tuesday's better for me.
Tuesday's usually good for me too. I don't know.
Okay, yep, me too.
Boy Scouts.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, last week, last time I had, they were over the
How
fire
about next
station.
Tuesday?
What?
Can we do,
Boy
Oh,
Scouts.
Those kids?
Yeah.
yeah,
What are they doing?
Cub Scouts,
Oh,
Boy
Cub
Scouts.
Scouts, oh.
they're just playing. How about the 23rd, can we do that?
December?
November,
November,
that would be next week.
next Tuesday night?
As long as it doesn't snow.
No, it's supposed to snow.
No, I know that we have to get these done.
Right,
What do you think?
That's the only issue I have, unless it's snowing.
Okay.
Tom, what time do you get out of work?
I can get out early if I have to. I can be here by 4:30, say.
Do we wanna try and do it earlier for you guys, so you don't have to be here all night? Maybe do a 5 to 7 session? And that way,
That's even better.
is that better? Does
She's
that-
asking the ladies.
Oh, I
No, in
fine.
town too.
Yeah, 5 o'clock's better. I'll be a lady for 2 seconds.
No,
So
that's.
I'm not seeing snow in the forecast for Tuesday.
Okay, good.
I am seeing cold. I'm
Yeah.
seeing
Oh,
partly.
they switched it, it was.
It was
earlier.
snow.
Yeah, it was for snow.
Good,
It's
now I
not
don't
now.
put the sander on this
Well,
weekend.
then again, yeah.
It's New England.
So do we wanna do like a 5 to 7?
Sounds good to
And that
me.
way, we might be able to get through some policies.
I think that's a good idea.
June and Margaret, you guys are here 24/7.
Tuesday,
So
please.
does that work for you, or we don't want to?
No, we really do need to do a real dedicated workshop, so
Yeah.
I'm flexible.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
No problem.
If you want cookies.
And
I'm
we'll
coming
figure
here at
out
5
something for
o'clock.
supper.
Huh?
I said, we'll figure out something for supper.
Oh, yeah.
I
Right.
will get supper.
I already
I'll
got
get supper
cookies.
for us.
Okay,
I got cookies ordered already.
then
If
we're
it
all
keeps
set?
us-
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, we can make
Yeah,
a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
Okay.
All those in
All
All those in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now he can go switch off.